what's up? Welcome back to Hidden Hands. Your boy Cruz in the building. I got my guy Trav with me.
As always.
Today, very long awaited episode. I got my brother in the building, the boss, the legend, Don Cannon. My brother, what's up, man?
I'm good, man. Having fun, man. Just got here.
Yeah.
I was in London and Paris for a little bit.
Yeah.
Some bad weather. I came back to Atlanta to some bad weather, but I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm happy to be back.
That's what's up, man. Appreciate you kicking it with us, man. And also, just while we got you in person, man, just for the platform, we've been having a ball putting this together. You know what I'm saying? And giving us the access to this level of quality to talk our shit. You know what I'm saying? And kick some game for the viewers.
That's right.
And it's been great, man. We got through a whole first season. You know, we at the tail end of this second season.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So definitely appreciate you and the team of TmrO for letting us rock out. You know what I mean? And giving us a chance on your platform, man.
Yeah, appreciate y'all, man.
For sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So where you want to start at, Cruz? I want to jump into a little bit of
man, go ahead.
I want to start it.
I want to start out with a little history first. Just a little history of Cannon, and we could just then we could get into what we've been talking about lately, and some of this.
Let's go.
But yeah, if you could just give a little background of because we know a lot of people, we don't want to touch on the same stuff we always touch on, but it's been so many pivotal parts, like changes through your career and what you've done. So it's like, can you just give us like a quick just a little intro or something just to.
You gotta tell me where you want me to start.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I go back to the.
No, I want to start from. Yeah. Well, for me personally, I'm interested in because I came up around the mixtape era. So you guys were pivotal in the mixtape era. You guys are literally what I think of when I think of mixtapes.
Yeah.
So if you could start maybe from around that time and how you kind of got to Atlanta and how you kind of, moved forward from the mixtaping to the producing.
Yeah, I mean, it really started in the club for me for the late 90s. So the late 90s, I was out here. Obviously, I went to school at Clark, Atlanta. I came down here and, I had one job only. It was to take over the club scene. At 18, I was just that confident that I could. You know what I mean? I was doing the lunchroom at Clark, Atlanta. I was doing Promenade. I was doing the market Thursday and Friday, one at Spelman, one at Clark. And just running, you know what I mean? I was running through all the parties till, the club promoters like Alex and Biddy and Luther, they all came to the school to find out who the hottest was and also hand out flyers for the party. So I think the first, time they saw me was in the lunchroom and they was like, oh, we want to get you to do the regular club. Mm-hmm. So I started doing the club, picked up a few gigs per week. And that led to me, ultimately meeting DJ Drama, which, I went to high school with a kid named Jafar, and Jafar was like, "Yo, when you go to Atlanta, you got to meet Drama. He already in his mood, you know what I'm saying? He in his mood." So he was like working with the Roots already, Talib already, there's Binkus Records, and just all the hot artists that was out. Bahamadia was her tour DJ, and his next door neighbor. They was calling each other cousins. So that was one person I wanted to meet. When I actually met him, I came off, I was like, yo, I make beats. And he was like, yo, I gave him a tape. He came, he called me the next day like, yo, your beats is crazy. You know what I'm saying? You got to come to the crib. We got to make we got to cook. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I noticed that he would be on a promenade. He had this like little yellow radio in the trash can. He would just like make these, they was called Dance Hall Massive. That was his first mixtape. Drama had dreads. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was on that dance hall.
The Dance Hall Massive, and then he had a Neo Soul tape that he put out, and that was his go-to at the time. That's how he made money. That's how he ate at night. And just was on the trash can. You knew where to find him. He was at the trash can. You know what I'm saying? So basically, I wanted to bring something to the table. He had something that he had already had. Our other partner, DJ Sense, he had an R&B thing going on. So I was trying to figure out where do I lie. I had the up north. I wore pinwheel hats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I had the jerseys. I was that dude.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out where I can make my mark. Being in Atlanta, it's just hard to market up north music. So I wanted to figure out how I could do it. And I started doing the blend tapes like, they did in New York anyway. So I was putting like R&B over hip hop beats. And being a producer, I knew the keys and everything. So it sounded like it was supposed to sound. So that's where I started, and that was my angle when they went to, you know, put the tapes out and sell them. I just had to blend tapes to everybody. It was the after party. You listen to it on the way to the club and after the club. So, you know, we went through a lot of trials and tribulations just, you know, trying to be in an existence in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Because there was already people here, Edward J. and Oop Camp and all these guys. They already had mixtapes. They was destroying. DJ Jelly was destroying.
Oop Camp era,
So we never wanted to be in something. We wanted to add to the culture and not take away from the culture. So we basically just, you know.
Were the other DJs that were already here receptive to you guys, or was it kind of like y'all from north?
They were receptive, but the only thing is, it's like, you know, is somebody coming to a territory you don't know to trust them to take over. You know what I'm saying? So you just kind of fall back until you figure it out. And you know, we always had love from Oop Camp. Like, bro, Oop was one of our biggest supporters, bro. Just salute that dude, man. Jelly, you know, Monte, Edward J. I was a little too young. I don't think I ever met Edward J. Maybe once or twice, but always knew about him. There was a kid, X, he was out here. He was working with Dallas Austin on Illegal and all these people back in the day. So, you know, when we was working, we had some support, but it was still the dudes from up north coming to Atlanta. What type time they on? You know what I'm saying? So,
but it was a different time at the time because up north was kind of the prominent hip hop.
Yeah,
it was kind of reverse how it is now.
Kind of, and I'm gonna tell you a story because in '97. When I came to school, I was expecting to hear Booty Shake and Freaknik, you know what I'm saying? And when I came down here, it was Break You Off something. They was hanging outside the cars, you know, staring you down. So I wasn't even adapting to that. I'm like, yo, why they looking at me like that? But then down there, it was a term of endearment. They was like, yeah, get with us, you know what I mean? Up north, it's like, oh, they about to set it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when I came down, it was Master P and Pastor Troy everything. So it was no room for North. You know what I'm saying? So for a lot of the period from like 97 to 2001, I say, in my opinion, Atlanta was birthing themselves as the standout thing. Because in the early 90s, they had their thing. In the 80s, they had their thing. But it was still to the South. They were breaking out to the world with these sounds. Lil Jon, you know what I'm saying? Couldn't Be a Player. All these records was breaking them into that. Exactly. So that's what we had to deal with. We was up against somebody that was really about to explode nationally and worldwide, and we're bringing down this sound. So it's like, we already doing it. Like, you know, Goody Mob had this song called Fly Away. And it's basically like, you know, if you don't like the Atlanta shit, fly away. And I had dealt with that for a lot of years in Atlanta, especially like doing parties, because when I would go to the club, the up north set was like 15, 20 minutes, but I DJ from 10 to 4. So you gotta imagine the barrier between up north and the south. You know what I'm saying? So
how did you tackle that at the time? Like, did you dive into Southern music, or like how did you know what I mean?
Being down like in 97 to 2000, I adapted. Okay. You know what I mean? The one thing was,
you kept an open mind to the Southern music.
I'm gonna tell you one thing that for sure what it was. The women. You know what I'm saying? So when you coming from up north and I'm playing all this Big Pun and all that stuff and all that, ain't no girls coming to the dorm room. You know what I'm saying? They not coming to hang out. But outside my dorm room, we had a basketball court. So the basketball court was where everybody came and just hung around. People sit on the dorm steps. Everybody would be partying out there. And the girls' dorm was right next door. You playing that shit, girls ain't came outside. As soon as you play ass and titties and all that type of shit, they was outside. So I'm just trying to adapt to that. Like, man.
And it was competitive at that time because I'm thinking back to it, and you said Morehouse, film, and all that time period. It seems like so much of Atlanta's music culture came from that time period. So, with you being there at the time, could you like describe how it was? Because wasn't like Jermaine Dupri around at the time?
Jermaine Dupri was crushing.
But I'm saying, you're dealing with these people on your campus. Like, while you're at school,
he was crushing. He was there.
You're dealing with this.
He was at the campus.
So,
Nas came, 50 came. We had this joint called Audrey Bookstore. Jeezy was there. Mace went to school with us. You know what I mean? I met Mace playing basketball in front of the dorm. You know what I'm saying?
Everywhere, man.
You know what I'm saying? So we had
a real hip hop.
Everybody, Fat Joe, everybody came to school and was just on the campus. It wasn't no reason. You know what I mean? We just hanging out. So one, we was trying to impress them. Two, we was like, man, we in the South. You know what I'm saying? We got to figure out what it is. Like the Young Bloods was rocket shit. Like them dudes is talented. They don't get enough love. Like them dudes was killing the campus. Like, man, I went to go, you know, we was going to lunchroom, we was going on dinner dates and all that to the lunchroom with girls and stuff. It was the Young Bloods, 85. Looking for you. And I'm in 85. That was what the girls wanted to hear. So we just adapted to that. Like me just watching what girls wanted to do made me like, okay, I know what's going on. Yeah. Get rid of that.
Exactly.
And do that.
Change
you know what I'm saying?
So
that's where the mixtape, when I said I was doing blends, I caught the girls with the R&B, what I was putting on hip hop beats, like, you know what I mean, Snap Your Fingers and all that stuff. So
it still had that vibe.
Exactly. So that's how I noticed it. Like, if I can't make the women dance, then I'm not even, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I always think about that because me growing up, I was like super hip hop head. Like I just wanted to be like, but I wanted to be around when like the blackout happened in New York and everybody, because it was always like weird to me. I'd be growing up and they'd be like, Big Pun would tell a story about Hove when they was young. Busta would tell he went to high school with Jay at a certain time. And all these stories intertwined, so I was like, damn, I need to be from there. So
and everybody was on the campus that was a rap star. Yeah. They was just hanging out.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Some was signing autographs, but everybody was there. If they wasn't, they was trying to be at the school. Yeah. Like I met Philly Most Wanted being on campus. You know what I mean? That's how I became Nate DJ from them being on campus. You know what I'm saying? I just ran into random people. I mean, it was the place that you wanted to be. You sat on the library steps and you would just walk by and then you might see Lauryn Hill. You know what I'm saying? You might see, just not on some regular, like not even on some, I came here to sell tapes, just I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? And the promenade is so long. It's from Spelman all the way down or damn near MLK. Like, so it's like 4 or 5 long blocks. So like you'll see anybody. Like I was in Mass Comm doing a radio joint and Ray J came through. You know what I'm saying? I was cool with Ray J because of that. I met everybody you could.
Did you stay there the whole time and finish school, or you?
Nah, I dropped out.
You was done once it got popping.
I Kanye Wested. I dropped out. You know what I'm saying?
But did you get popping before you dropped out, or you like you kind of knew I'm gonna go somewhere?
I'm not tooting my own horn, but maybe a month or two in to school, I was already popping.
You was already popping.
Yeah, because I was in the lunchroom DJing, and once I adapted to what the music was supposed to sound like, it was over. I was one of the first DJs on campus, not scared to play Tear the Club Up. That's what got the food fights in the lunchroom. That's what the football team riled up. Like,
he dropping that shit.
And it was like, damn, that nigga got some guts. He dropping that, and that's how I made my name. So people was like, yo, they go to Tear It Up, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that I was happy about, just being able to throw the parties. We had the pajama jamming jams. Like, I was running the shit. And when I got through them first couple years, I was going home to Philly and realizing that I can't keep leaving Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I had to stay in the mode because people were staying down there doing summer school and all that. So I need to stay in that mode. And once I stayed in that mode, in the summertime, that's when the artists coming through. They coming through drop tops. They coming through peeping. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing the clubs, and at this time,
DJing is more prominent. Like you are, most of your income, most of your success coming from DJing, or is it both production at the same time?
So I made no money from production. So in '97 when I came down, so I never told this before, the story. So I was making beats in the dorm room the same time I was doing that. So the same time as I was DJing the basketball. So the basketball games would be like this. I go out there, I play a couple. The game I lost, I go to the room, put the speaker in the window and DJ until it's my next time to play. Okay. And sometimes I ain't feel like DJing, so I played my beats. And then people was like, oh, I heard that beat, da-da-da. So I met these kids, North Star, and I was in that group. I started working with them. A year passed. I met Willie the Kid. I started working with him. He was my artist. Then I had Jay Christie, which is Detroit Red. He was my artist. Then I was working with Drum, whatever Drum had going on. So I was always doing that, but it wasn't at a point where I was financially stable off beats.
You got you.
You know what I mean? Okay, but I was DJing. So how I dropped out of school was Philly Most Wanted took me on tour, and we did a few tour dates. And that led to me picking up Miss Jade. I was a DJ for her, and I went on a Sprite Liquid mix tour with her, Timberland, Bubba Sparks when they was all on fire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I went around the world. I think I did Jenny Jones. And once I did that, I came back to school. People was like, yo, you was on Jenny Jones.
Jenny Jones, the classic show.
It was over. It was over.
The classic old
beefcake.
Beefcake.
They was knocking on the door like, yo, what's up next? What's going on? I said, oh, yeah, it's over for school.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Did you guys did you guys leave together? Like, meaning you, Drama, and Lake, or
no? Because Drum was everybody's older than me. I'm the youngest. I'm the young boy.
Okay, got
So Drum graduated.
Okay.
Lake graduated. Since graduated, I was still in school, but I already seen them moving into their world. So I was like, man, I ain't. You know what I mean?
So that kind of helped too.
Yeah, and I didn't want to do it. Like, my mom put up a lot of bread to help me get through school. Like, you know what I mean? She saved up her whole life.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what I was going to ask. How was that received with you trying to leave school?
Bro, being poor was like, it was heartbreaking to me because it was like, I know what my mom couldn't do some days. Like, we couldn't eat some days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the fact that she was putting every little dime away for me to go to school and me not doing that shit was like, fucking heart-wrenching. You know
it's like, damn, I want to stay,
So it was tough for me to watch it, but, you know, I still wasn't even, like, really saying I was out of school. I was staying in the dorm, but, you know, 9/11 changed everything. You know, when 9/11 happened, I ain't had no dorm. I was basically homeless. I was sleeping on my man's floor, and he woke me up 9/11 like, yo, get up, pack your shit, go home. The world is about to end. Damn. I'm like, oh shit, what you talking about? He said, bro, they bombing the shit. We looked on TV, they only bombed one plane. The next
and you
one
just waking up out your sleep.
Yeah, I'm sleeping on the floor, nigga. I got a hoodie and a pillow. You know what I mean? And my equipment. So when he woke me up, I'm looking outside, everybody leaving their dorm, everybody just walking with their shit, just out, going home. So I called my mom immediately like, yo, what's going on? She was like, what you doing? You coming home? You staying up? What you doing? I said, yo, first of all, I ain't in school no more. You know what I mean? I dropped out.
Yeah.
I've been out here faking it. I'm in somebody's dorm room, acting like I'm in the dorm room.
My man pulled the Hillary Clinton.
You know
no, it wasn't Ashley. The Ashley Banks.
You know
Y'all remember that?
So I was like, bro, it's over. She was like, all right, well, shit, it ain't no time to, what you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna thug it out. I'm gonna stay down here and just, you know what I mean, thug it out. So I did that. She was just, you know, she accepted what it was, but a couple years later, she watched, and she already knew, like, man, I started music at 5 years old, bro. Right. Like, she knew, like, bro, it was nothing stopping him. Yeah. But just as your mother, you're trying to figure out, how is he gonna get there?
You know
what I'm saying? What's it gonna take?
Because you was on the music your whole life.
Yeah, I was doing this. I was doing mixtapes in high school, bro. That's how I made money. Like, I was a hustler. All I did was shovel snow, wash cars. You know what I'm saying? I did any and everything to get some money to go buy records. You know, it's been times where I did stuff I didn't want to do. Like, I went to this grocery store for my mom and stole the vegetables and paid for the records. You know what I'm saying? Just being a young nigga at 13 years old.
But that's the kind of mindset you got to have sometimes. To, like, I'm sure that same hunger that you would use in scenarios like that is the same hunger that, you know what I mean, 5-10 years down the road when you're in the industry or you're actually pursuing your actual craft.
Like, I went to high school. I went to a high school where people was getting money on the street, and I would buy, like, Timberlands and shit like that. I wear them one day, bring them to school, clean them up, and sell them in school. Anything I sell. I had the Haggler khakis. I ain't had the Tommies. I had the Haggler khakis from JCPenney's. Sold them bitches. Then went to got the Tommies. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of hustling. So I was already familiar. I was making tapes already. I was selling the tapes. It was just doing whatever I had to do to stay in mode. You know what I mean? So that carried into college. And I was doing that. Like, I was managed by a pizza shop. You know what I'm saying? I was a pizza shop on campus called Son's Pizza. I was managed by the guys in there.
Oh, wow. Like, they were your managers?
Yes, and you know why?
Wait, what?
Yeah, so Son's Pizza, this is the first time I'm telling all you're getting exclusive.
Okay.
Son's Pizza was on campus. It was Coconut Dish, which was a Jamaican spot, Son's Pizza, and then there was a market. Everybody used to go there, and another place called Steagles, which was older. Son's Pizza, I used to go in there and beg them for food so much, I just told them, yo, why don't y'all manage me? Get me parties. And I used to go in there and just be able to eat pizza and garlic knots for free because they managed me. Because I had no bread.
But we got to just go a little deep into the management part. Just want to like, what did they do? Did they call you and say, hey, we got a gig for you?
So two of the guys in there, they were already doing parties.
Oh, okay.
Just on a lower level.
So they was in the mix.
Yeah, they was doing like New York parties, stuff like that.
And they have a pizza shop as they also.
Yeah, well, the pizza shop was just the one guy, man, he gonna kick my ass, but I forget his name, but he was a chef already.
Okay,
he was just a chef by nature.
Yeah.
So to open up the pizza shop was just already coming for him.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? But he was doing parties too. So I was like, y'all manage me shit. You know what I mean? And I will always be good.
You gave him some of the cut too and everything?
Yeah. Whatever. I ain't had no cut. I was making $150 a party.
Right.
Free pizza.
Yeah, nigga, look, I'll DJ from 10 to 4. Make $150, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
That lasts me after tokens for the bus and all that bullshit. I had like $25. I had Nautica tees that I got from the discount spot and one pair of sweatpants I used to rock every day. To the point they was like, yo, this nigga's in uniform. I was on some Mark Zuckerberg shit. Real shit. I wore the same shit every day, but I spent my money on keeping my cut, my Sharpie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just making sure that I had enough money to eat and get on the bus. And that's where it started for real, 97, 98.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's crazy. Fire, I got out here in 99.
Man, it's about a pizza shop.
Yeah, pizza shop. I mean,
that's innovative though. That was smart though, you know?
Yeah, they had another DJ, brand new. He's out here as well. He breeds horses and does horse riding now, but then he was on fire too. They had the two hottest DJs out.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, that's fire. I mean, that's
new every day, bro.
And it goes to you never know what your opportunities would be. Like what we were talking about with the boundaries and betting on yourself and stuff.
Exactly.
It's like you was basically just betting on yourself any chance you could get. Hey, give me pizza. I know give me the pizza deal, nigga. I'll beat the pizza deal. Like, let's do it.
Bro,
Nah,
I'll carry it all the way, like, you know, just, we gonna backtrack a little bit, but all the way to 2003, what's the name of the Chicago restaurant? That everybody loved, the chicken spot.
Oh, Harold's.
So Harold's first spot was on campus.
Okay.
Out here?
Yep.
Okay.
It was on campus, and they were just trying it. I met a dude named Dre that was owning the spot. And every time I come in there, he'd be like, bro, you talented, bro. I just got your mixtape. I fuck with you. I'm from Chicago. Like, word. He's like, you know, I used to go in there. He'd be like, don't worry about it. He used to give me free food.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, that's all I needed. I needed free food because I couldn't pay for it.
Yeah,
right?
you're a college student.
So being in there, that's how I met and became so close with No ID. Is because No ID and him were really close friends. He was like, yo, you remind me of No ID, bro. I got to hook you up. I'm like, No ID, nigga? You going to hook me up with that nigga? That nigga's a legend.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm going to introduce you. And that's how we got connected. It's the same thing. He was almost close to managing me at the time. You know what I'm saying? But it was just me just hustling. And I was being fair. It was like, shit, get a piece, but I need food. I need to be able to live. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wow. And y'all was doing paperwork or it was just a handshake?
Nah, it was handshake. And it's like, man, we was different then. You know what I mean?
You get put in the back of that U-Haul back then, man.
We stood on principle. Everybody talking about standing on business now. Like, bro, I wouldn't dare not do a handshake deal just to, you know, sneak off, get food, and then don't pay people. That was just not in art. That was not
how
in the cards for me. Like, I'm just a different dude because I wanted it for myself. So when I was doing all this, I just stayed down. And, you know, as it moved, people knew it was like, yo, they can't hold this kid. He's growing past what we could do. Yeah. You know what I mean?
They was whooping ass though back in that era too.
1,000%.
You gotta kind of keep the handshake might be good enough.
But we didn't even think about it. Just being a solid motherfucker. You don't even think about getting your ass whipped. You know what I'm saying?
The handshake might be enough.
Yeah, because too, when you broke, bro, I know what real broke is. I don't know what everybody called they broke. But my broke came from shit. We all had to eat. Because if I'm sitting there in the dorm room and I'm eating, but you don't have a piece of the chicken, everybody had to have a piece of chicken. I would come in the room like, yo, I got the bag of chicken, what's up? And we would eat because we would eat and work all night long. If one of us passed out because we was hungry, it's just different. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we had to be in that mode, like, of working together to get money. Like, you ask anybody, you ask Willie Kid, ask anybody we came up with, we share everything, bro. It was no, this is all me. It wasn't no lip. Even being from Philly, it wasn't all that shit. It was, nigga, we eating together.
Yeah.
We went to shop together. You bought some Air Force Ones, I got Air Force Ones. You ain't have enough, here go $20.
Yeah.
When I moved in my first apartment, Willie ain't had no place to stay. He moved in my apartment. I went and got I was up a little bit more than he was. So I went and got a bigger space so we could work in the spot. You know what I'm saying? So all that stuff worked like that. Like Drum, like when I had no place to live, he let me stay on his couch, bro. Like, he let me live with this nigga. You know what I'm saying? He's a grown-ass man with a kid. He allowed me to stand on his couch. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a different vibe because we all had one thing and, you know, a common goal in mind, just to go to the next level. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so moving forward, because I can sit there and talk about that time period all day.
Yeah.
Moving forward, where were y'all trying to go? Because you wear so many hats now, but did you have the foresight to see, like, I'm gonna go here, be a producer, executive? Like, what was the vision back then?
Our goals were different. So Drum's number one goal and one of his taglines when he accepted awards all the time was he just wanted his name on a flyer. That was his main goal. He wanted to be the biggest DJ he could be without having to DJ the clubs, because DJing the clubs wasn't his thing. You know what I'm saying? My goal was to be the greatest producer that ever lived. And I fought tooth and nail for that. From a backward standpoint, I was down here amongst some real wolves. Like, I was down here with Organized Noise. I was down here with DJ Toomp. I was down here with guys that was already killing shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I was just trying to be a part, like, anywhere I can. Like, anybody that needs something, I was just tenacious, bro. I just was any and everywhere I could be. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So at that time period, it just felt like everybody's goal was to be somewhere, but when we connected our goals, it became a conglomerate. It became like, yo, we can really be a dynasty. You know what I'm saying? We can really be that crew to take over the world in a culture. So that became the goal later on. It was like, okay, Drum, you already know the roots and all these people, so you're the face. Cannon, you the wizard. You know every machinery. You know how to make the beats. You know how to produce them out. You're the heart of it. And then we had the businessman, which was Sense, which was always polying with everybody moving to get us business. So it was already set up like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy story. Nobody know this neither. But our first original name as a crew was PH Balance, but it was kind of, pause. So it was like PH Balance, man, Philly Balance.
Y'all got
we was trying to make it work.
Y'all got technical. Y'all got
it didn't work.
PH Balance.
Yeah, and then then they wound up. We was like Philly Balance, but then we was going places.
I get it now. I was trying to put it together.
Because we was running around when Beanie Siegel dropped PHILL period. You know what I'm saying? It was like PH. We out here.
Yeah.
But then it didn't work out, and then my man Ace McLeod came with y'all affiliates because y'all affiliated with everybody. Move, but y'all, so that made sense. You know what I mean?
Fire. That's a fire name. So.
Yeah. So that was our main. That was our main goal. It was just kind of like always getting. But at the bottom of the barrel of our relationships, we were marketing geniuses. We knew how to get to crowds. We knew how to get to the fans faster, direct to fans. So, yeah.
So, I have a side tangent, just side question.
Yeah.
It could be short. But, so how was it being a DJ during the BMF era and the era of Atlanta? Like, was it as crazy as everybody, like, makes it out to be? Because some of the stories I hear, like, are ridiculous. Like, I've heard stories of people leaving the club, like DJs leaving the club with $30,000 from them just spinning records all night.
I don't know if it was that much, but
I'm telling you, I'm hearing outlandish stories.
It was some good money being circulated. I can say that.
It was a different time.
But at that point, like, it was for the love of the city. The city was, when you come to Atlanta, at first you had 559, you had the Bounce, you had Bankhead, you had all these places that we had to go to party. Yeah. And then when Buckhead really started getting popular and we had Fuel and Shadows and Chaos and World Bar, that's opened up to a whole nother world. You had Velvet Room, you had Door 44, you had Riviera, you know what I'm saying?
Chainz,
Karma. So all them joints were just starting to pop off. And I was already doing those because I was already messing with Cloud9, they was kind of like, you know, the premium, and AG was the premium. So I was already doing sets there. So, you know, naturally BMF was coming to those clubs. So it was naturally called the BMF party because they would come in and buy all the bottles. They'd have all the girls. They show off the love. Like all them dudes was just, it was just the coolest niggas. It's like, you meet them and then you doing, you know, your thing, and they respecting like, yeah, young blood, I see you doing your shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that turned into like, you know, when Jeezy and Bun B had the record out and all that, and they just wanted to hear their songs. And it would turn into a rain shower some days. If I'm DJing, it's like, every time you play it, I'm gonna give you $100.
Yeah,
like,
I heard
so
that.
What the fuck I'm gonna do?
See, I wasn't gonna say it directly like that, but I ain't gonna front. I heard that. It used to be like, man, you play a song, you get $100, or you just keep it spinning. You could run it up all night.
We didn't,
and they loved hearing they shit, so they just here you go.
It was love. Some nights I got bottles. Sometimes I got 4 or 5 bottles. But at that point, like it wasn't none of our business. It was just I was DJ. I was so focused. I didn't know what nobody did. I didn't care. I just knew there was a crew. That was it. Nobody, you know, you hear the horror stories, but it's like, bro, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Like you just, you know, DJing. But they also had parties that they threw on their own. I didn't do those because they had BMF DJs that was doing their shit. Like they had their own people. I just did the shows that they came to us. That was some of the parties. Like the infamous giraffe story and all that. I didn't do that. That was a BMF party. You know what I'm saying? But the actual feeling of that era was great because
that's more what I'm
was
speaking
able
on.
to do. It was so many of them, and a lot of them wasn't just from one area. You know, it'd be some people from New York, St. Louis, you got Cali. So I was able to play a lot of records, and everybody be rocking. Like I can go into my my explosive bag. I can go into my turn my music high bag and get the club going. And they had so many people that it was like they got the club started. So it was also exciting for me because I got to see my work in fruition of like, you know, the club really moving because I'm really rocking the way I am. You know what I mean?
Man, listen, so we got history, right? So we met, I think my first trip to Atlanta was like 2013, actually at Main Street.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But, and you guys were already moving and shaking, of course, by that time. But like, give me kind of like the inception of going from you guys being the affiliates to Generation Now. Like,
stepping into executive era.
Getting into your executive bag and, you know, starting to like get into this like, you know, breaking artists and things like that. Like, what was that transition like?
So I don't know if I ever told this, but the first part of this is in 2003. We had a mixtape called Generation Now.
Okay.
So basically, what we were trying to do is young artists weren't getting a voice, so we were able to break these voices with a tape. So on the first tape, we had Kanye West, which we met early, Joe Buttons, Corey Guns, Stat Quo, Joel Santana. These are all people that we met early. You know what I'm saying? Jay Mills.
These are all I'm about to date myself. I'm about to age myself out because we
was breaking them early.
That's my era right there.
So that was the tape it was called, but after two of them, it kind of morphed into Gangsta Grill's Generation Now. So if you see the Killer Mike tape, it say Generation Now. The Bun B is like Generation Now edition. We moved those ideas into an artist having one tape. So when we did Generation Now, it was a compilation of all the songs, and we moved into the Generation Now Gangsta Grills. It was like Bun B, 16 straight joints. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as we moved in, Gangsta Grills just you know, smashed everything.
Loaded, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So fast forward 2013, around that time, I think 2010. So let me backtrack just a teeny bit. When the raid happened, me and Drum fell out. You know what I mean? We didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who to trust. I don't know what was going on. It was just some tough shit going on. I felt like some of the people he was hanging out with wasn't in my taste. So I just went on my own and did my own thing. I started exploring ideas. I had all these ideas. Like I was first, I want to claim it. If somebody want to take it away, they can. But I was the first person to do mixtape videos. And I did them with Asher Roth and I did them with Cool Kids. Even when Jeezy did Trap or Die 2, I did videos. And he came and he was like, he didn't even know what I was doing. I was like, no, we're going to film us doing the tape. We're going to shoot videos for he like, What? Like, I had a guy. It's like I had a dude, Decatur Dan. He worked in the store.
Shouts out Decatur Dan.
Yeah, shout out to Decatur Dan. If you ever get a chance to speak to him, he'll tell you exactly what I'm telling you now. He was working at Standard on Peachtree, and I knew he had an eye because he was taking pictures of the actual products in that store. I went and bought a camera and put it in his hand. I was like, you want to work with me? I want to do videos. He was like, fuck it.
He saw something change. He started changing.
And he stepped with me. He was like, yo, we start doing everything. We start doing, like I said, the Cool Kids, the Currency videos. I just went in another lane because I felt like it was so many talented people that wasn't getting heard that was in that space. So I just jumped into that world. And I started this website called Studio Rats. It's like, you know, people are like, man, you a studio rat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I started a site where you could go to the website and watch the videos of the sessions that we was in. And that's what gave me the idea of doing shorts for me and the Cool Kids, or shorts for me and Asher Roth, and those shorts for videos. And somewhere like around 2010, I was like, bro, in order to keep going at this pace, I got to learn something new. Like, I don't know the building. I don't know why I have a publishing deal. What's the ins and outs of it?
Yeah. Talk about it.
What's a royalty deal? What's mechanicals? Yeah. Why is this lawyer charging me 5% for each, you know, agreement?
And you already, and you're working. You a working producer at this point.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go and take a job. I got an opportunity through No ID, introduced me to Karen Kwok, and I took a job as vice president of A&R Def Jam for 2 years. Right. And my basic thing was not to just work for a label all the time. I wanted to actually lift up the hood and say, okay, they got Nitrogen. Okay, that's what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, this is why the...
exactly. So I learned that for 2 years. And I'm always trying to sign people. I mean, I tried to sign, first of all, I tried to sign A$AP Rocky and A$AP Mob. I was trying to make them into a Bone Thugs and Harmony / Dipset. You know what I mean? And they were already in talks with Brian Leach, and A$AP Rocky had told me that. He was like, bro, but check out my girl. She in Australia. He got me on the phone with Iggy Azalea. And I talked to Iggy Azalea, and she had a song called Pussy. It just had Start Popping. And I was trying to sign her. I brought that to Def Jam. I don't think they was too excited about it. They didn't like, you know, gravitate to it. So I moved on. I was at Fly Kicks. There was a store out here that Ebony Ward and Fly from Think It's a Game had. And I met one of the kids there that was taking out trash. He gave me his CD. It was Rich Homie Quan. That was early. And Rich Homie Quan was something I was really excited about signing. I took it to Def Jam. They didn't want to do it. So at this point, I was just kind of trying to figure out what did I need to be doing. The Migos came across. I know Pat brought the Migos to drum, my man Pat. And that was also something that I, you know, since they didn't sign it where Drum was taking it, I was trying to take it to Def Jam as well. And I was going to go tell them about it and then bring it back to P. And the Migos like, yo, listen, I'm Cannon, I'm working here, da-da-da-da-da. And that didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just starting to like, at that time, it was like the whole Def Jam building was all gold. It was Trinidad James, everything.
Wow.
And
that was an amazing era in Atlanta hip hop history at that time. You're talking about when Fly and all them and Peter Street and Edgewood started popping and we got 2-9, all that stuff.
So I didn't have I just basically like, let me just kind of retract, you know, and try to figure something out because this ain't working. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stop trying to sign artists and just see what's in the building. Sycamore was there. I was there. This guy Tab that was working with Jonte Austin. He found Alicia Carr. Noah Preston. I'm probably leaving out a few, but Steve-O was in the mix. So we all had this pat like, yo, let's help each other on all projects. Like, I'm not just going to do one project by myself. I was coming in. I had all the relationships. I knew every rapper. You know what I'm saying? So
for sure.
With Sycamore knew some. So it was times where it was like, yo, YG's been sitting here at the label. And Sycamore was going to pick it up. I was like, yo, I'll help you with it, whatever you need. You want to introduce you to Metro Boomin. Metro ended up on Crazy Life. Rich Homie Quan, when I was working on Jeezy, he was helping me with shit. I went and got Rich Homie Quan and brought him to the studio. And Jeezy was like, yo, he need to work with YG because that's my top priority. So I put him in the B room of Patchwork. I remember Rich Homie Quan coming out. I was in the lounge. He came out with a shirt off. I just made a hit. We walked in there. That was my nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
shit. So we were adding. Nah, that's real shit. And that's where a lot of our tag team, you know, against artists will be like, I'll help you. Me, Dion, and Noah did Logic together. You know what I mean? I did when nobody wanted to work with Logic. I jumped in the room with him and did Nasty in his first couple records. Yeah. Lil Durk and Reese, that's something me and Dion did. Dion signed it, but I was like, bro, I got your back. I fuck with these kids and they know me. Like I can do a mixtape on them that's gonna take them out of here. The first mixtape me and Drum did was Reese and Durk, and it took them out of here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we played a tag team with all this stuff. I mean, there was a lot of other acts that people might know about, like I forget the dude from Cleveland, but it was just a couple acts, but we was always helping each other. You know, Alicia Carr had our own team, so anything I could help with him to do it, it would be cool. But Big Sean, I was there. Nobody wanted to work with him early. I was doing Finally Famous 3. I was giving them beats early. Final Hours, one of the records everybody loved, was the intro to Finally Famous 3. And I remember me and him was at the studio at Beverly that Dion booked for us by the Beverly Center. And I did the record for Jeezy. He wound up coming in the room like, yo, that's hard. What's that for? I don't know what made me say this, but I was like, yo, you can have that shit. I didn't even think about it. Like, you know what I mean? He did it. I was like, we're going to shoot some videos. We just turned up, you know what I mean? And Dion followed, you know, with the hit record with Chris Brown. So it was just building. We were building artists. There's a lot of history there.
That's hard.
But all those artists know, like they can attest to all the stuff we did. We helped with everybody. Like it was everything for me to see YG on the stage and tell him, yo, this is all due to Sycamore. You know what I mean? And it ain't had nothing to do with me. I ain't had to say my name. I ain't had to say Dion name. I ain't had to say nobody. I just wanted us to know we was doing that. Me and Sycamore did Jeremiah together. You know what I'm saying? So it was just all of us just helping each other go to the next level. And that's where I learned a valuable piece. And I was like, oh, okay, we could do this without the label. Because I can't sign shit. You know what I'm saying? I was still DJing. I'm pretty sure Def Jam ain't like that at all. But I wasn't giving that up. I was making too much bread in Cali DJing. So once I really learned this, I was like, yo, let me step out. I was managed by Sujit. He has one of the biggest agencies for DJs out. He had it was called Scam Artists, Scam DJs. He was sending me to a lot of residencies in different cities. That led to me going to Atlantic City, driving, where I first heard Uzi Vert on the radio. And then I was like, I'm going to use what I learned on this kid. I already know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? I know what to do. And for a long time, it built up that way because, you know, we was hardhead. We was from Philly. And people would tell us, man, y'all need an artist from Philly first. And we was like, nah, we went and got Atlanta nigga. We went and got a Michigan nigga. We went and got everything but Philly. But we knew we came from. It was like, yo, Philly niggas hard-headed. I'm one of them. You know what I'm saying? I know what's going on. Like, I grew out of it. A lot of people still in that mode, but I know that when...
But not to mention, everybody's getting their artists from the South. At the time, so they telling you to go get an artist from Philly. But everybody getting their artists from the South. I can see how you could kind of be like, let's go get artists from these other places.
It was kind of hard, too. We was fucking with Atlanta rappers. It was just hard to break because we from up north. So we were trying any and everything. It was this kid named Attitude, super talented, bro. We couldn't break him. Attitude was writing. He was hanging with Timberland. Attitude's a writer, right? Yeah.
He wrote this record for Timberland. That's my boy. He was signed to us Attitude. Alabama. Yeah, that's my boy.
Then you got Tech Beats. He was in a group called The Replacements. He's from Atlanta. He's from Gainesville. He's from here. You know what I'm saying? So we just had our ways of trying to break it, but it just wasn't working. So fast forward, when I was telling the Uzi story, was like I knew exactly how I was going to break the kid. I was like, he's from Philly. He sounds different. He's different. He's going to break through. He understands. You know what I mean? So that's the whole generation now came off of his back because we were like, yo, he is the generation now. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it came from. It's funny. I'm gonna tell you another story, and Dallas gonna laugh about this. Dallas was starting a label at the same time, and he was working with Wale, he was working with Meek, he was working with Nip, and I think maybe Nip came after, but he was starting a label. He's like, bro, I'm thinking about starting this label. Can y'all give me a blessing by using your old mixtape title, Generation Now? And I was like, nah, we was thinking about using it. He was like, nah. I said, yeah, we like dead ass. We was thinking about using it. And I remember he be like, oh, no, it's all good. I ain't tripping. I was just looking for names. And that it's funny because I remember him mentioning that, and I was like, bro, we need that name. That's our shit. You know
we got to keep that. That's still in the work.
Yeah, shout out Dallas.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what's up.
So that's the brink of it. You know?
But listen, it's so much in there that you just said.
Yeah, I was
bro.
about to say so many parts, so much
like getting the Avengers together.
Yep.
Because I can't give too much information, but I had the opportunity to be in a session with a lot of legendary A&Rs, and that was some of kind of the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, if we come together, it's over for the, you know what I'm saying? For a lot of this shit, because like, that's the sauce.
Yeah, we spend too much time playing one-on-one ball in the industry.
Yeah.
And that's where we lose out on the integrity of music.
Yes.
What we all could do. You know what I mean? And, you know, sometimes there's some people that can play one-on-one ball. Like, Pharrell can play one-on-one ball. Man, the nigga's from Mars. You know what I'm saying? Timberland can play one-on-one ball. Yeah. But they all have capillary or olive branches supporting why they're playing one-on-one ball. You know what I'm saying? Them dudes, like, they had a team of people that was helping them move forward. Right. A lot of us can't. I was a hustler. I was trying to figure out how to do it. I was a musician. I was a creative. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I felt like teammates was important. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Do you feel like you being so creative at a certain point and being so into music growing up that, because I had this kind of problem where you had to like become a businessman after you was already kind of getting money in the music and stuff like that. You had to learn how to become a businessman?
Yeah. I mean, I learned how to be a businessman from losing money. You know what I'm saying? My first actual learning experience is my mother, actually, because she was an accountant. So she would always tell me, look, go to school and learn about money. Right. Don't learn about creative. You already know that shit. Yeah. So I didn't do mass comm. I did business management with a minor in accounting. Because I wanted to know what it was. And I studied marketing. I studied economics. I wanted to know everything about money because I didn't want to grow up to the examples we had of people that got money and lost it later. I just always wanted to figure out how to do it. Yeah. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing is getting a big pub check in 2005 and blowing the money. Just going, buying cars, crashing them, leaving them, going to get another car, buying all the jewelry. Buying the big A chains. I had 2-3 A chains. I had a iced out Breitling. I had watches. I had cars. I was just buying things. I was being silly with the money. Yeah. And then I felt like God was like, yo, when the raid happened, it wasn't about the raid to me. I think it was about like, yo, you're here for a bigger purpose. Yeah. Get your shit together. Right. And I lost everything around that raid time. And then I got it all back based on my new mindset. My new mindset was basically, take care of your money, take care of your business. And that's partially why I wanted to go on Def Jam and learn all that stuff. I wanted to learn anything they had to go on. Yeah. What's mechanical rates? What's royalties? Right. Why am I getting publishing? When am I getting paid? Right. I had times where I didn't understand why I couldn't even get paid because somebody from another record didn't sign off on the album. So the album's on hold. So nobody's getting paid. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I know that Jay-Z wasn't signed off on Go Crazy for like 6 or 7 years. I didn't get paid for it. You know what I mean? And it just was business. And, it had nothing to do with Jeezy. It had nothing to do with us. It was just something that happened. And those things happened in those eras where people was actually still selling albums. So we had to wait. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to learn everything. I'm like, why am I stuck here? Why am I not recouping? I had to learn all that stuff. So I became a businessman based on my losses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so critical because we preach that, like I sound like a broken record sometimes just talking about, get educated. There's no I don't know how else to tell people, especially now, like coming up in your time, it's like the access to information wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Like, there's so much information out here to, try to avoid some of these things and help you to be sharper when you're dealing with
the stigma about it is if you do too much business, you lose your creative and you start falling off. That's the stigma for people. Yeah. I never thought about that. I was like, I'm never going to lose my creative. Right. I need to learn business. But I see a lot of people coming off and dumping their whole treasure on somebody just so they can be in the studio all day and not talk about business. That ain't it. You have to learn your business, bro. Yeah, for sure.
One time I was
can't do that.
I used to work with Tricky and stuff, and one time he took me. He said, "Man, you could be anything you want in this. You could get as much money as you want in this music industry. You just ain't trying to make money. You just want to be creative." And he said,
"That sound like Tricky. Yeah, you ain't making money, nigga."
Yeah, he broke it down to me. He was like, "Bro, you need to focus on making your business the most important thing to you." And from that day, I did, but my money grew from that day because like you said, the creative's in you. You've been doing this since you little, so it's like, but sometimes we don't pay attention to it. We kind of grow up with this thing where it's like, that one hit's gonna fix it all, or when I get there, it's gonna fix it all. Yeah. And you kind of end up fucking yourself, you know what I mean, towards the end.
Yeah, that ain't it. You gotta learn your business for sure.
No, you have to. There's that fine balance, man. Like, you know, of course, when you're in these environments, when you're in the studio, you know what I mean, you don't want to fuck the vibe up and be talking all business, but it's like, you know, having that fine line of like having your team in place, having people that are over your business, but also, like you said, like understanding what's going on. You know
and
what
on
I'm
the playing field, if you do not study, you're not going to know. Like LeBron is one of the illest studiers. They laugh about him looking at a book and like, oh, there you go, faking reading a book again. That dude is mentally thinking about the next step every time. He's on the court. He's so successful because what he studied. He about to shoot right there. Don't go right there.
When he does this, when he picks it up with 11, goes this way. When he gets the ball down there, he goes, yeah, you're right.
So I had to think like that. I had to think like in business, bro, make sure that you stay at a certain rate. So if you go lower, then everybody gonna think they could start getting the money for lower. You know what I'm saying? Or just those business tactics to help you stay in a cycle of I'm actually generating. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I mean that's very important to stay afloat. Like you can't be in the studio just, you know, you learn more stuff. Like if I'd have known that being the best producer was subjective and not a fact, then I wouldn't have went to sleep earlier and got more rest. I would have ate well. I would have exercised better. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Man, you dropped the gems on that one, bro.
Real shit. Like, you know, that happens when you know that certain shit is subjective. Like, like I might be the best producer to 100,000 people. There's 1 million people that say I'm not. So once I knew that, and there was no actual list. When I was growing up, it was like 5 mics was the Bible.
Yeah,
for sure.
Being number one on that XXL list made you. I'm the biggest producer. When I know that was like a subjective rule, I was like, oh shit, it's opinion based.
Yeah,
stop worrying about that. That don't mean nothing. Be it to yourself. And then learn all the other shit. So that's when I learned that. I was like, oh shit. All them nights I stayed up 4 days in a row and being scared that I ain't ever gonna go to sleep again. I had to get NoDoz or something like that to go to sleep. Like I would have did all that shit early if I'd have knew what I knew now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
oh, that's deep, man. That's deep because it's really.
So you feel like it wouldn't have changed your trajectory?
No, it wouldn't have because I felt like I was putting in my 10,000 hours regardless of the sleep I was getting. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I see what you're saying.
A lot of that
I was gonna ask the same question. Would it change your hunger?
No, I wouldn't change my hunger. It just would have put me in a space where most of us gotta be able to live. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you don't live, you die before you even get in a subjective conversation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these people miss their mark. They drinking a cup and they die. From regurgitation, you know what I'm saying? Or they smoke, or they ate so much beef that they died. You know what I'm saying? Or those things, like you start, and it has no age. It's people, some of the rappers we lost, they was 23 years old, 21 years old, dying from a cup.
Right.
We lost speaker knockers before he was like the greatest in that period, and we lost him before he got there.
Before we even realized that what he was
guys
doing.
These guys, like you never you get caught in a space like, damn, why we lose him like that? Like Yams was one of the most brilliant people. He was a connector, bro. Like he was a connector. He would connect pieces. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I always said something about Cash that worked with The Weeknd. Dude was an ultimate connector, bro. You know what I'm saying? He connects. You know what I'm saying? From what I see, I just watch him connect pieces and put pieces together. Yams was that, bro. He was a connector. Like he connected me with 2 people. You know what I'm saying? It was just, he was like, just hit you on Twitter like, yo, you know who you gotta, I was just watching your shit. You know who you gotta get with? You gotta get with him. You know what I'm saying? It was like the connecting of it. We lost a lot of people based on us working so hard because that's what we thought we had to do. If I stay up 3 days, you ain't gonna be working. So I'm gonna work when you're not working.
Yeah, I'm gonna outwork you.
I'm gonna outwork you.
Yeah, if I drink the lean and I ain't gonna lie, like a lot of times when I was first getting in the industry, everybody I knew who rapped thought they could rap better on lean. Like legitimately, it was a real thing for a second where it's like, bro, we need that lean, man. We can make that shit, we get that lean. But it's like, nigga, what? No. You make that shit if you knew more about what you was making.
Yeah. No, definitely being conscious of your health because, you know, that was like a thing we talked about earlier on just in engineer life of, you know,
the badge of honor. The no sleep badge of honor.
No sleep. We in here 3 days
bro,
straight.
I just met this kid, bro, like 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. I did a talking class. He was an engineer, and he stood up and he had a question. He was like, I don't want to talk about business or creative. I want to show you what I have. And he stood up and he showed us like this trail mix bag that he made for engineers to eat. It's to stay healthy instead of grabbing a bag of Doritos and things like that. And it was mainly for engineers to eat. And he made like an infused water in a bag.
Helps your energy.
And I was like, damn, you on to something like that. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, most of us work 10 to 18 hours. Sometimes we never leave the studio and we always eat bad. And you look up and we just big. We don't feel well and all this. And he made this trail mix for people to eat while they're snacking in between, you know, cuts and stuff. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. So it don't stop your hunger because he actually has a hunger. Yeah. He's just channeling it differently.
Right. He's balancing.
Yeah, these young guys are smart, man.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
I ate all that shit up. Like, so when I got in there, said, don't sleep, you're going to be successful. Fuck it, I ain't never sleeping again.
We all did.
But, like, stay up. You in there, eyes watery.
You ain't rich yet?
Yeah, I'm going to shout out Dave, too. My man Dave got this joint, and he got this big-ass podcast. And his first coming up, he was selling these shirts in the mall called Sleep for Suckers. And everybody used to buy these shirts, and I was like, "Yeah, sleep for suckers." And y'all some sucker ass motherfuckers.
Y'all sleep.
Not even always sleeping and stuff.
Tired,
and
nigga.
I'm watching how successful he is with his podcast now, and I'm waiting to talk to him because I'm gonna be like, "Yo, what's sleep for suckers feeling like now?" You know what I'm saying?
I need that rest.
I get a lot of sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Need that rest. Yeah.
But that was his come up. But I just, you know, at these times and period, like you gotta really. All that stuff is food for your brain, bro. We can't think like that. Like gibberish, staying in the studio 24 hours. The first 4 hours is the best time you had to create. After that, everything else is gibberish.
And some of that shit is antiquated. Like, if it used to take you this long to cut tape and make the tape edit, and
that's another
producers could hang around while you and 3 engineers in there working on that stuff. It take a long time. But now we bouncing quick. Everything's computer, digital. Stuff like that. You ain't gotta.
I started cutting tape. That's how I started. Yeah. So I know what that is.
Yeah. Take a long time.
I know what that is.
But and I feel like that culture we're in like a readjustment period where like the technology came. Now you can make beats faster. Now you could make music faster. Anybody can make records. I was listening to something they were talking about how the blackout I was watching something where they were talking about the blackout, how everybody got DJ equipment. Or with that Bob Marley shit, because I was locked in on the Bob Marley. So when I started going back through the evolution of hip hop and the jam systems and all that stuff, and I started realizing like, okay, there's these different points where things happen that are crucial, and they change the game. So this might be random, but one of my comparisons was when everybody was getting that equipment back in the day, and it was so important to hip hop that everybody was finally getting DJ equipment and finally throwing these parties. In 2009, 2010, when the plugins cracked and the computers became like we could have a home studio, I feel like that is just as important because the game we got after that, the amount of rappers that we got, because from 2007 to 2000, probably early 9, rap was kind of getting a little. We was like, what we gonna do? Who's the hot guy? Who's this? What we gonna do? But then the internet era came. It was like the real internet era where you started getting the 2XL magazines and we started having more things to buy into. I feel like that was pivotal because those plugins cracked. You know what I'm saying? Because before you had to go to a studio to have the plugins to record with the professional equipment.
It definitely changed. Yeah. I met J. Cole like that in 2008. Me and Dion went to go see him in New York. He had an inbox in the computer. You know what I mean? He was
about to make history.
He played Lights Please, and I was like, you made that like that?
Yeah.
He was just on some shit, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like that is like the a pivotal part of our era. That
1000%.
2010 coming up, you know, through what we at now with it. You know?
Yeah, 1000%.
Do you feel like because something you touched on where you said, and I'm glad you said it because I've been trying to think of how to say it, but integrity in music is what we've been talking about.
Yep.
The integrity of music. How do you feel about that, like right now, or like?
It's not there, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's based on being seen. I think that we're using music as an emotional tool or drug to get through things that we didn't learn about ourselves deep down.
You're saying that's what our music represents for us as black people?
Yes.
Black music.
Right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been that the whole time?
No, because a lot of people were just doing music because they was with their friends having fun and they felt nice. Now it's gotten to a point where the emotions, the music is being made to not think about your homie that was killed in front of you when you were 13 years old. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's we're not going. We all have some type of trauma, but there's a lot of kids out there that have PTSD that like think about G Herbo. All his friends was killed. 17, 18 of them. You know what I'm saying? Dirk. All his friends were killed. Like that's a lot to take on. And the music is your road to escape what you saw, what you hear, what you got to deal with on a daily. And rap does come from that struggle, but I feel like it's tougher now because there weren't no rules to certain shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and now it's like, hey, back then, people had vices, but they also were working on the music because they love to do it. Now it's escapism for a lot of people.
But I think it's been a certain level of escapism in black music since the beginning, you know what I mean? Like we go back from the...
It was tangibles though. It was like, okay, when we was doing music in the 80s, they were trying to get out the projects. That was the #1 rule for rap, to get out the projects. We talked about that
for you to know, for you to understand what we going through in these projects.
To get out the hood, we got to make music. But it was a tangible thing. Now it's like a memory of things. It's like you're not getting away from that thought process. That rap music ain't gonna make you feel better about your homie that died when you were 12. That's something you have to either dig down and figure out. It's stuff you learn when you get older, like working through all of this. I had to learn that a lot of the times I would wear jewelry, I couldn't have a real conversation with people because all they would do was stare at my change. I'm like, damn, man, my shit that icy? You know what I'm saying? Or was it like, so I was like, oh, why am I wearing it? I took it from them instead. Why am I wearing it? It was a trophy for the pain and suffering that I did for so many years of trying to get there. You know what I mean? So I put the chains down. You know what I'm saying? So I can have real conversations. So if I'm talking to somebody, I'm going to actually learn about myself. You know what I mean? All the pain I went through. My father died when I was young. You know what I mean? So I wasn't able to trust things all the way up until I turned 35, 36 years old because I didn't know myself. I was just doing stuff and just blocking it with, you know, and people had these pains and they had these insecurities about themselves and had these things and they're not getting in touch with it. So it allows them to, I'm going to just do music and escape it. You know what I'm saying? I'll just escape it. I'll just escape it and keep escaping it until you get to a point where you never heal from it.
I never thought about it like that.
If you think about it, like,
I never thought about it like that.
We've talked about being therapists.
Because I feel like that makes the music better. So it's kind of like a weird thing because it's like when you go through something and you reach that point of like, hey man, I'm finna put this in the music. This is gonna be my escape. We love that music. Like that makes the best shit. You know what I mean? That touches us. So it's like, think about it from a standpoint of like, but you still gotta go heal and do what you gotta do.
Yeah, it's two pieces. It's fun rap for me. Like, and then there's people that's really talking it. Like Jay-Z right now, when he did 444, that was his therapeutic album. He got rid of every thought that was bothering him and every thought from the outside that was bothering him. He talked about his mother and her transition. He talked about his almost or whatever he had going on with his marriage, having a kid. He talked about where he's at now, investing, where he lost a ton of money, but now he's investing in things that will kind of anchor his career for the rest of his life. It's a lot of those things that he would never ever put out because us as rappers told to be like strong and tough and all that. But then we start channeling out to get rid of the energy. Like, okay, cool. Y'all ain't got to ask me nothing. And I don't got to ask myself about what I feel about my mother or my father or my grandmother or my friends dying. I don't have to ask about that no more. I ain't got to get back. I ain't got to spin a block. I thought it out already. It's over. I did it. So it's like when you're in that space, there's ignorance and there's stuff that like, I want to release. Like I use Dirk as an example. I did not see where he was going at 2013 to now. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Even all the stuff he's been through, anybody can say whatever they say about Homeboy, but what I saw was he was determined to get past and learn about himself. Yes. You know what I mean? He got back into his basketball game. He got into religion, Islamic, you know what I'm saying? So he's learning, like you starting to see people on O Block be Islamic, you know, I don't know if he got something to do with that, but it's also teaching them, hey, through prayer, we can learn ourselves and get through. Yeah. So now moving forward, his music is going to be that much more authentic. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're going to focus on something about him doing drugs. You know what I'm saying? Right. He's focusing on, listen, I'm about to tell y'all everything I went through so I can release, you know what I mean, and give y'all better music in time. Yeah. So that's where we're at with music now. It's got so phony and so kind of surface level that we not learning about nobody. All we know is she know how to twerk. She got 45 chains on. This person's gonna go to Saks and buy 2 pair of $12 shoes.
It's kind of weird. It's definitely weird. Content wise.
Yeah. So we got to get to a point where we start knowing people again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like I know certain rappers now. With J. Cole spit right now, I know exactly what he's talking about. I understand everything.
Yeah.
He addresses everything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Drake addresses things. Kendrick addresses his last album. Bro, it's so therapeutic. He's addressing things from his point and a movie point. So it's got to get in that space. And I'm saying R&B got to do it, pop got to do it, but for rap, we got to get to a point where we're back to the real. We knew every artist in the 90s almost what their MO was. Oh, he a fake dude. He's real. He's the real rapper. He's the fun rapper. We knew everybody. We knew the copycats, but we can't tell now. It's just, it's like surface. It's like, give me a chain, I'm out. Money phone, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I get it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah, that makes sense. I never thought about it like that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah, we're
that's
using
deep.
it as
I
an
never thought
escape.
about it
Like it's a modern day drug. It's like,
right.
You know?
Yeah. It's definitely a difference because I can see how what you're saying is something that I can see an artist could probably be scared of.
Yeah.
Nowadays, taking those leaps and doing it different like that or coming like that because it's working.
Yeah, I also address all the time. People are scared to be corny. Like, when did we think corny was bad? Like, when I was coming up in the 90s, I liked Ice Ice Baby, Tone Loc. Yeah. I liked, you know, anything that was corny, but I liked the real shit too. Yeah. I just didn't like whack. Yeah. You know, whack is whack, but corny ain't necessarily whack to me. You know what I'm saying?
Cheese on there, you can still fuck with it.
That's all I'm saying. So, and when I'm moving forward now, it's like that's how I look at things. It's like, where is the people that's not afraid to be corny and go outside and be like, yeah, I'm cool as shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
because it changes. The opinion of you being corny is eventually you gonna be fire.
Nobody
you know
gonna tell you like people. I hear people say this about my man all the time. T-Pain, that's my guy, bro.
I just said when you said Timberland and Pharrell, I said T-Pain goes in that same category. He's a one-on-one player in this game.
Yeah. So exactly. But when they be like, oh, that corny shit he be doing, like when he come to the room, nobody's gonna tell me he's corny.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, yo, that's the legend right there. You're not gonna say that corny ass song you put out with Constant and all that shit. Nobody's gonna say that.
Yeah,
because he stands on it. He know himself to the T.
Yeah.
Like that nigga, you can't tell him nothing about himself, bro. He's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm out here. Yeah. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want to do.
Yeah, that's why
we need more of that.
I rock with I keep talking about Tizo a lot because he's like the standout to me. Yeah. Of like the new guard of that. You know, him, Tyler, those guys, they're just like, Tyler is
unapologetically himself, bro. 1,000%. Like, no man, I just saw him in the Whole Foods. He just walked up to me, like, why are you in Whole Foods in Atlanta? Like, I moved here. I was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm just standing there. I'm like, yo, you in Whole Foods just chilling? And people was just like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
But we just standing there talking. They ain't looking at me. They're like, who the fuck is that?
Right,
why is he talking to Tyler? Why did Tyler walk up on him?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But he says whatever he wants to. Funny, mean, sad, cool, on any level. Like you gotta have those artists. Like you know he not channeling no pain. It's all out.
Yeah.
He's showing you everything he saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's real.
That's real. That's definitely
that's real. That's a deep concept. I'm gonna have to wrap my head around that some more.
Yeah.
As time goes on, because I ain't never thought about it from that perspective.
I walk around telling people they don't know themselves.
You know what I'm saying?
So I want you to know that I know that you don't know yourself.
Yeah.
You can't tell me. I'm an open book. People know everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
what's that producer talk right there. Because that goes into the record. See, that's what he just told you. he's actually giving you game on how to make records with new artists and stuff like that.
1000%.
Because it plays into the same thing. You know what I mean?
1000%.
Identity, all that stuff we've been talking about. Yeah. You know, the connectivity, everything, which to me is the most important. That's why I asked you about the Tyler, not Tyler Creator, but the Water Girl.
Oh, if she was
because she has such a big record.
Yeah.
That I don't know anything else about her, and I feel like that's like not good in today's time. I feel like that's like part of your. You need somebody to connect. You need people to connect with you outside of your songs. You know what
some
I mean?
people are just songstress. Like she's a songstress. You know, there's some people like Mary J. Blige. Well, we saw her pain. You know what I'm saying? Then there's somebody like we see your fun. She might just keep having to keep feed us fun records.
Yeah, that's real.
I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like I know. I think I know enough about her being new. Like I know, you know, where she's from. I know a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like enough to be like. But she's in a different space, like you know what I'm saying.
And she got pain. She got to deal with coming from Africa, where it's not accepted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where they normally don't sell a lot of records, but they can do a stadium and have 200,000 motherfuckers in there.
Right.
They got to deal with that type of pain, where they got to come to the United States and really like be on our ass about how great they are.
I was going to say, you got to come prove it over here because we ain't buying in until we in.
And I learned that too. We keep a lot of stuff in, bro. When I was young, I was 2001, 2002. I had an abortion and I ain't never told nobody. So I was just hot until I sat in a room full of people. It was like, nigga, I had 5 of them bitches. I had 6. I'm like, oh shit, word, okay, cool. And then you learn like, okay, I'm not a statistic. You know what I'm saying? And then it carries with you. It's like, oh, nigga, I've been to jail. I ain't gonna tell anybody I've been to jail. And then like, nigga, I've been to jail. It's cool. Da da da. We out here. We doing right. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's real.
The kids are not doing that now. They just fussing.
Everybody got their fronts up.
They fussing in front of the camera, showing like I'm the biggest tough guy, and then in that cell they not like that. Or when shit get real, they not like that, and they got to show more of that. Like you know what I mean? Like man, I was fucking down bad just a second ago. I ain't down bad. Nobody's down bad now. If you know anybody's got a money phone. At all times, nobody's down bad, bro.
Yeah, they got to keep that facade up, and that's more challenging than you keeping it real. Because once the money get funny, you know what I'm saying, or you go through certain things, now it's like all that shit you trying to.
And somebody should tell, like I know Tyler's people, and you know, at some point where it feels like it's not working no more, her tell all stories should be like, man, you know what the shit I gotta go through. You know, I gotta fight to get over here. I can only stay over here for a couple months. I gotta get a work visa. Then I gotta be accepted. I gotta do all this shit, and like that's how you get to know people. Like that's a different side of stories. Like. Put yourself in my shoes, like what I gotta do. I gotta go on TikTok and do all the stuff. I did so much great music all my life, and you know one song based on water going down my back. You know what I'm saying? So like her story has been told in a different way, where we might not be like, she ain't the pain person, but we know that, okay, we know your fight. Like Burna Boy, we know his fight. He can sell out a whole New York stadium, 90 south, but then everybody on the internet talking about, he don't sell no records. It's like, bro, talented. Then what the fuck you worry about sales for? He don't get no sales at home.
The biggest song of the year. Y'all saying talking about sales.
You see what I'm saying? He get respect everywhere. He ain't got no issues. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's the stuff where people gotta start saying, like, bro, y'all don't know what I'm going through. I'm gonna tell y'all, and I'm gonna show you how parallel I am to y'all life. The same way you worry about this or insecure about that, I'm insecure about this. That's how we adapt to it. We did that with all our artists, bro. All of them growing up. All of them. Jay-Z was the hustler uncle.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I grew up with a guy. I grew up with my best friend. He said that Jay-Z was his pops because he never met his pops. So he used to always be like, Jay, my pops, bro. I follow him. What he say? Listen to
Anything record was a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't learn nothing from rappers now, bro. When I was coming up, Gangstar told me not to go across the street when they said, ooh, ooh. That means they was gonna rob you just to get a rep. That's how I learned. When they did ooh, ooh, oh shit, run that way, they about to come take your belt. I learned all that. Like I learned about shorties. I learned about Brenda's got a baby. I learned I went to high school with girls like that. You know what I mean? That dated older dudes or just might have got rid of the baby the wrong way or this. I learned all that from rap music, and we ain't learning nothing from rap music for the majority. Let me keep it like that.
The majority, we're not just saying every single person.
For the majority, we're not learning. The kids aren't learning. I don't necessarily need to learn anymore because I'm finding my inspiration and channeling it different. But for the younger kids coming up, man, be an example for them. Like tell them where not to go. Y'all don't go on that block, bro. They going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Don't eat that. Eat this. Or, you know.
I think Dirk's doing that really well, man. Like you talked about Dirk. Like that Almost Hill campaign. And I'm listening to the single that he put out where he was like telling people like, yo, that street shit is over with, bro. Like it's done.
And Almost Hill is the perfect example, like you said, because he's talking about bringing everything out that was inside that he could never talk about.
Right.
And he's Hill. He ain't talking about Almost Hill because that, you know what I mean? He was spun the block. He talking about
getting it out.
Real therapy.
Yeah, he's getting it out. So he's going to the next level, and that's a perfect example.
Yeah,
perfect
because it's
example.
like, you know, he's like, yo, that culture is that concept of being loyal to the streets is done. Like, you know, there's so much shit happening where you're gonna get set up in some way, whether somebody's gonna tell on you, whatever. Like the culture is not what it used to be. You know
they got traffic lights. They got traffic cam. They catch you.
And
You was here on Thursday, bro.
And to be honest, that's
we
the
follow
problem.
your trail.
That nobody knows how to get out the streets. I don't think there's something wrong with the streets. We all came from the streets. But the problem is they don't know how to get out anymore because
Is it
they're
even
not
intended?
they're showing us to stay. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna say, is it even intended to get out?
Yeah,
because
some
now
people want to get out. This is what I'm saying. When you on the block and you got your homies and y'all doing whatever y'all doing, and anyway, if it's good or bad, right? When you go home to get in your bed as a 17-year-old, you got all the worries in the world. Man, I just came in here, ain't nothing in the refrigerator to eat.
Right.
Damn, my girl ain't even answering the phone. Damn, she down the street fucking with that dude. Oh, we don't got no lessons, bruh.
Right.
Like you go home by yourself. Your homies ain't in there with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
You take your shirt off, you get in the bed, and you can't go to sleep. Why? Because you're thinking about all the fuck shit you got to think about. Like that's an escapism. When you come on the block, it look all good on Instagram, but you gotta deal with yourself when you go in the house. No matter what you say at night, you gotta deal with yourself. Whether you smoke yourself to sleep, drink yourself to sleep, you gotta deal with it by yourself at some point.
Right.
So we need somebody to help them get to that point.
Yeah. Do you think that plays into, because like the culture nowadays, like, you know, us coming up, and I think back on things I came up dealing with as a kid, a lot of the youth now, like there's so much, I feel like it's easier for them to, or maybe we just hit it really well, like talk about being depressed, and everybody's like, you know, it's very like low vibration and all these things that they deal with. Like they take it a lot harder than I feel like we did when we were coming up. Like, do you think, like, where do you think that comes from, like in terms of on the music side of things?
I think it started with respect. I think that when my mom whipped my ass and my dad whipped my ass, it came from a respect level because I understood what they was on. It wasn't just whipping my ass because they was drunk, which some people come from. You know what I'm saying? Right. It was like, I respect what my mom about to show me I'm going to do, so I'm going to take the ass whipping. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like the kids is like on their own. They don't respect their parents, so they can't take an ass whipping.
Right.
It's a lot of, and then it's like, and then it's like what they respect is different. So they might respect like, oh, you got the range, you got the big house, you got the this, the that. They're going to respect that. Versus,
they
you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to show them all that and then talk to them.
And that turns into that music. So that the respect level is there. I think it stopped when, you know, we was whipping our kids and the kids was calling the authorities and sending us to jail. Yeah. But that was non-respect for the parents.
But there's always been a level of depression in the music.
Yeah.
But
even with, you know, the people coming up, like the youth coming up, you know.
But now when they like, it's like now it's kind of like a you know, do the drugs and
it's escapism,
just
bro.
get me high, and you know, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like
They scared.
Some
they
stuff
don't
is
want to
cool.
deal with nothing.
Some of the stuff I be bopping to, I be like, damn, nigga, you better do that.
It's just sad, bro.
You finna get that high?
That's just sad.
Crazy.
Yeah. So that's basically where I think it started. I feel like the respect level for what we was going through then.
Being disciplined.
We loved the people that was disciplining us.
Yeah.
The kids now aren't loving the disciplinary actions. Right. They're like, if you do that to me, I'm gonna call the cops. If you do that to me, I'm gonna come shoot you. If you come to me, and you know what I'm saying? I firsthand, I watched my uncle do the slimiest shit, and I wanted to fight him every time because I didn't respect him. You know what I'm saying? So I know where it comes from. And opposed to my uncle, my other uncle or my aunt that was kicking game back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I know. So I know that the kids now, it's a cycle in life. This ain't nothing new. I feel like they getting disciplined from people that really don't know. You know what I mean? Or really don't care to really show them like, I'm your real OG. I can really give you life. So if I'm teaching you, I'm your OG, and then one day you do something and I punch you in your chest, you're going to respect me as an OG. Now it's like they're coming and killing their OG. You know what I'm saying?
Like you did not.
So you know, it's it's my punch was a love punch to show you, like, my man, listen, don't do that shit no more.
Tighten up.
You know what I mean? So it's getting in that space where we can't reprimand, so then the music suffers. We can't do, like I said, I stood on ground. Wu-Tang came out dissing everybody. You know what I mean? Mobb Deep would have a fucking intro. Yo, I'm about to start smacking this in their face for living. All that shit was like, oh shit. Niggas is, you know what I mean? But they stood on it. Like when they would go to concerts and see other people, the people they talked about on their album, it wasn't no, yo, what's up? No, you know, that one. It was like, nigga, you corny as shit. Stay over there. You know what I'm saying? So the disciplinary shit is different, so the music is different. It's like we can't control the crowd. Like, you know how you have TSA and they be like, hey, you got to stand here. Right. It's not just, hey, everybody free. You know, that's what rap is now. It's not like, this is how you do it, bro. And go there.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody's, I don't got to be in no box. I can do what the fuck I want to do. Like, then you lose the culture.
Right. Crazy, man. I want to talk about, like, I really admire how you guys move as a team. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, how you guys have built this thing together. And of course, like in any, I can imagine like you guys have probably, you know, bumped heads here and there, but just on a whole, how you guys have like, you know, stayed solid and stayed down and been able to build this thing together. Like if you could kind of just for people that are watching, just give them some game on really kind of like, you know, building something with your folks, like, and staying solid and really like respecting each other's role in it. Because I think you guys have done it so well, man. Like you've broken multiple artists, you've done all these amazing things, and I don't think anybody really steps on the other person's toes. Like everybody kind of know their place. Like
it works when you got a team full of Kobe's. Not to say all of us are Kobe's, but just the mindset, the Mamba mindset is to know your role, one, and then know everybody else's role on the floor. Like I know for a fact why all the people I do work with and why they do the things they do. Because we're dating it back to everybody has stuff inside of them that they holding on to. So when I know that my partner, oh, he's doing that, he has a little trauma from this. Oh, he's doing that because he has some trauma from this, and they doing it from there. We understand each other. So I know not to press your buttons because that's going to be painful in that space. Now, can I punch you up top and we talk here? But it's never going to go deeper than what it is because I know what it is. And again, surprisingly, we all get disappointed in each other's moves sometimes because of what we do. But it's nothing that serious because we know deep down why it came from. Like, if you can't know your partner and be like, oh, he's doing that shit because his mom wasn't there for him when this happened or this, like, when you know that shit, you just kind of like,
that's how I be with my partners. You know, you know what's going on. You like, damn, I know why he's triggering.
We never going to step out of line. We're going to argue we're going to joist to the death. You know what I'm saying? But we all know, like, bro, I'm not going to go that far. And then in my mind, no matter where business ends or how far we take it, if we decide to say, hey, man, we did that, it's over tomorrow, I know at any time we just friends, period.
Yeah.
I could call and talk about some shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one of the smartest parts about being in business with people you really know or studying. We're all knowing each other. They know all my pain. They know what I deal with. They know what, you know, it might not be my business that they know, but they know why he's like that. He's defensive for a reason. He might not have told us, but I know why he's defensive. It might be in the name of creativity. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. I know why Drum's acting like that. You know, I know why Leak is acting like that. I know why Uzi's acting like that. I know why Jack's acting like that. Once you know that, you don't get disappointed by nobody. I don't get disappointed because I'm like, okay. Like, oh, he acting weird. I know why we fall out with certain people. You know what I'm saying? But there's also people that won't accept that. They won't let you accept that you know they demons. You know what I'm saying? So once you do that, that relationship becomes brittle at the end of the day, and you can't really repair it because they're never going to change. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I know that I'm evolving. So I learn things. So in revolving, I play chess with myself. Like, oh, okay, shit, I could have worded that better to not make him mad. I could have did that. Once you're doing that, that's the Mamba mentality, bro. That's like you learn the ultimate mastery of all this shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know the mastery. So that's how our business was built.
Like, and it helps you not put too much on them.
Yeah.
Like, so if you know what I mean? So now you're not getting into a situation where you know, I know he can handle this. I know this the guy for this.
Yeah.
And I know, you know what I mean? My guy.
We get too many. We get, a lot of times as people too, we get to the point of rap music became, I told, or, you know what I'm saying? That whole point, like, I told him it was this, or the fact that, man, he ain't handling his part of he ain't pulling his part of the boat. Let's figure out the way to make the boat move just in case he can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's ways around it. It's like it's passing off. It's like having taste enough to not be a disrespectful partner or disrespectful place. And again, you're gonna argue that's what brotherhood is or sisterhood is, or just, you know, but just knowing that you're able to say, I know everything about him. I know everything about her. I know everybody, and they know everything about me. It helps business grow in any aspect.
Yeah.
Anybody I'm dealing with, I know how they are. Right. Can I be upset about some of those things? Of course, it's human nature. We're not robots, but deep down, we're not penalizing each other for certain things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I want to ask a business question because I'm building some shit, and I've seen how you guys have. You know, it's not easy to break an artist, much less break multiple artists. And you guys are super solid with your partners over at Atlantic. And I love how, you know, because I know people that have situations with names that are just as big, but they don't get things done the way you guys get things done. So I just want to touch on, like, having a partner like that. Like, how are you keeping everybody activated and you know, on point with what it is that you need them to do? Because I think you guys do that really, really well. Yeah, one thing I found out is I look at things like cars, right? You turn the key on the ignition, what's it going to do? It's going to turn on, right? If we all get out of the car, what's it going to do? Sit there and run till the gas is out, right? I'm trying to learn working with cars in neutral. You turn them on. If we get out, what's it going to keep doing? It's going to roll. You know what I'm saying? And those what I call the artists like Uzi and Jack Harlow is people that was going to ride without us. You know what I'm saying? It's going to neutral. It might go slow. It hit a hill and start going fast. It might go up the hill, go backwards. But I'm looking at it in a space where without us in the car, it's going to roll. You know what I'm saying? When you find artists that's going to sit there until you press the gas, it ain't going to work, bro. It ain't going to work. And it's tough because in our position and how much we've done in our history, we have people that want to sign to us and say, I'm going to just sit here until they press the button. And that's not fair on us. You know what I mean? We need something that's going to roll without us, or we can figure out how to stop it from rolling. Like, okay, put it in park. Yo, you moving too slow. You moving too fast. I can speed it up. You know what I'm saying? That's what I call grooming. Making the car do something, helping the car get to the destination is kind of how I look at it. And that's just the business of it. I mean, breaking an artist is definitely not hard, but the first stick you need in that part of the business is having an artist that's going to always stand neutral. I'll be listening to, when I be working, I'll be listening to 21 Savage joint running, and I understand. No matter, he come in here to record a verse, the car is running. Go see a chick, car running, because he's that mindset is deeper than the car running. It's his mindset of like, I'm gonna go regardless. I'm gonna move regardless. So that's how I look at the artist now. It's just having a tool belt of things that they know how to do. They just need the help to get the car down the street. That's it. Gotcha.
Yep.
Yes, man.
I used to hate hearing that shit though. When you be in a situation, they're like, "Oh man, you gonna be successful without us." Like, no, I want to be successful with y'all though, man. Like, nah, you don't need this, man. You good,
it's
man.
Tenacity,
it's in you, bro. It's in you. I didn't get hit with that shit because I used to be one of them rebel like engineers. I bought into hip hop heavy as a kid, so I fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? No, that's how we do it. Studio breaking down blunts. I used to be a little out of control, you know. I was an engineer that used to come in and put my gun down on the thing first. You know what I'm saying? Sit it down, bam. 9mm right there.
Just to establish.
That don't talk to me like that. Don't play with me. I'm coming to. But I be on the same shit though. But the rappers is on. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make the music. Don't.
Right.
You know. So,
yeah.
Oh, it's a funny thing.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
But listen, Cannon, we appreciate you, man. You know
Always, man. I'm glad I got a chance to do it. You know, first season. I just wanted to wait till the time was special for us to have a real conversation because the way y'all connect to some certain people and certain audiences, I feel like I can add value there, and I can't come and just talk shit and goof off without having some type of value to be added to the listeners.
Yeah.
It's good to know the history, and a lot of the podcasts know the history, but it's also be able to walk away with jewels. I learned some of my biggest lessons from Gary Vee, and you know, and some of these guys is really saying some stuff because I take what they're saying not for gold. I take their experience for gold.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So I understand that you might say, "Don't eat that." I want to figure out why I don't want to eat that. Or do that. So it's the experience that I'm getting. It's not what you're saying is gold. Something somebody might say, like I watch Biggs Burke. Biggs Burke say a lot of good stuff on his page. You know,
every day.
And
every day.
It's more than just the plain sight. It's like the jewel in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm about to dig through and find a jewel or in that scroll.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to come on here, because I'm like, man, I want to be able to say something that's gonna further the listener's career or further the listener's thought process of themselves. Like you just talk about the gun on the table. It brings me back to how we used to be. And have to be in those environments, but I understand where it came from. It came from something when we was young, when people tried to play us. Don't ever try to play me. I got my gun. Like that's a trauma. So it's like we gotta investigate. We gotta investigate.
It is. I used to
shit,
put that bitch right on the table. I said, why am I doing this? And then one time, somebody came and said, "Don't shoot." I said, "I gotta stop. I gotta stop." Cause he was, "Don't shoot him." Yeah, cause I had a client run out on me, and another was like, "Don't shoot him." I'm like, man, all right, I'm just chill.
Yeah, some people don't
y'all
learn,
looking at
like,
it crazy.
You know what I mean? I learned a different, a different tactic. It's like if I'm in that argument where I may have to be in that mode, I tell niggas like, listen, man, I got family. You know what I mean? Let's work that angle. Like, you know what it's like to have a family? You know what it's like to not go home and eat and tell your kid, or see them crying in the bed? Like, I go for them angles. And I be dead ass serious. It's real. It's real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you know why I'm in here? I need to feed mouths, bro. Like, let's not get into that world. Like, I'm not even gonna play tough with you. I'm just telling you, like, just put myself in your shoes. Like, my kid is hungry right now. So that's all I be on. I be on them games because that's what hurt the most, because they start burning in hell when they hear that type of shit. It's like, fuck, I fucked up, bro.
Do this nigga like this.
You know what I'm saying?
And they know, because they got their own situation the same way.
Especially,
so they know.
especially a rich motherfucker. Them motherfuckers, they'll tell you anything. They'll beat you in the head for days. It's like, bro, listen, bro, I got a family. Wouldn't you want to come see my wife and kids? You want to see what my angle is right now, so you can really understand why I'm pressing you for my bread? Get in that mode for niggas. Like, I ain't fighting nobody for no money. I'm just telling you, just know when you go to bed that you send a nigga home broke with no food for the family, and we might be on the street.
Crazy, bro.
Nah, that's real.
That's a good way. That's
a
good one to leave it.
I done had people run off, do all kinds of shit to not pay, man. I'm talking about, man, we could be here for days, talk about it, man.
And listen, you got a family, so you need to start saying, even if it's not your family, say, hey, man, listen, I take care of my mother, man, on some real shit. I'm not lying to you. Like, I take care of everybody around me. Like, I don't want to play those games. These are silly games over some paper. Like, I really just want to be able to take my family. I don't want to have no issues.
I haven't had to deal with that shit in a long time. Luckily, I got somebody in between, a buffer now, but back when it was just me, and then you be trying to get the money any kind of way you can get it sometimes.
Bro, I'm telling you.
Coming, you be like, damn, I'm dealing with this nigga.
The kickback be like, man, bro, you know how to get money? Why you pressing me? Like, that's all that.
Yeah, you tripping over this, man. We need this, man. We finna, come on, man, just stay down, man. We finna go up.
I feel you, but listen, my family got to stay down too.
Today I'm hungry.
All good.
That's real,
bro.
man. Well, appreciate you coming through, man.
Thank y'all for having me, bro. It's a great experience.
Yeah, so definitely, man. This has been Hidden Hands with the legendary Cannon.
Hidden Hands.
Till next time. Travis. As always, till next time.
Let's get it.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all.